Active weather continues as we get closer to the official start of hurricane season. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back with you here at Meteo Mundo on this Thursday afternoon. Great to see you again. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. We're going to be talking about several different areas here impacted by rich tropical moisture, the rain it's going to bring, but also some of the excessive heat we continue to see. And of course, we're just a couple days away from the official start of hurricane season. You can already see there's another area in the Eastern Pacific, and I'm tracking 4 tropical waves across the Caribbean and the Atlantic. So again, let's get started. We'll get right into it here at Meteo Mundo. Thanks for finding me. You're looking at your broad perspective, all the live data on this Thursday afternoon. This is our enhanced satellite imagery, all the live lightning data. There's your lightning strike count. And these are your current temperatures. And I kind of want to start there. First of all, it's excruciatingly hot. Temperatures are upper 80s, lower 90s Fahrenheit. That's really not outrageously hot for this time of the year, but that's not the issue. It's the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, the dew points, and then the heat index, or the feels like temperature, what it really feels like to you when you step outside. When I put those numbers on, you're going to see a lot of triple digits, and we'll get more into that. I'm going to leave these numbers up as we go across our area with current conditions, because again, I think it really tells the story where if you're not actively getting some showers, it is dangerously hot in your area. So the first area I want to start off with is one that is getting some rain, and those are our friends in the southern Windward Islands from Grenada to Trinidad and Tobago. Again, we have our tropical wave here that's just entered the far southeast side of the Caribbean. You can see some of that moisture back building right now, and we've had some good downpours in some of these areas. Obviously, you see those temperatures drop, and again, these are feels like numbers as the showers and the storms have moved through. I can show you the water vapor imagery here. And again, moisture-laden air, even a little bit higher concentration down towards Guyana and other areas of South America. But this is an area that will continue to see the opportunity for more showers the remainder of today. This could even get to portions of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Barbados could catch a shower. But again, if you're not getting the rain, look at these feels like temperatures here. St. Lucia into the triple digits, and we'll get more into what's happening through the rest of the Lesser Antilles coming up. But again, just wanted to show you an area that is getting some showers, and of course, obviously, that's some cooler air there. But as I mentioned in yesterday's video, our friends in Trinidad and Tobago need to enjoy this rain now, because as this tropical wave moves off towards the west, all of that activity will be going with it. Now for the ABC Islands, okay, a little bit of moisture here, brief shower over Bonaire. But again, when you're not getting the rain, temperatures are well into the triple digits with feels like numbers. Curacao snuck up, I believe, to around, 108 for a brief time there. Yeah, it's unbelievably hot in the ABC Islands, and a lot of that moisture, again, staying just off towards your south. Now, I continue to monitor the situation through the Southwest Caribbean. Another blow up of showers and storms again for today. Very weak wind shear, but again, you get farther north, the winds are a little bit stronger, and it's still not conducive to supporting tropical activity, meaning a disturbance or a tropical depression. But this is rich tropical moisture, which continues to now stream west and north, and again, eventually gets bowed back north and east. But it is beginning to march deeper into Central America, and that's great to see for places like Nicaragua and Honduras. We're getting some heavy rainfall along the Caribbean coastline right now. Some of that rain is trying to sneak a little bit deeper inland. We'll talk much more about what's happening in northern Honduras and Belize coming up in just a minute. I do want to mention that we do have this new area from the National Hurricane Center in the Eastern Pacific, about a 20% chance of development as it moves away. But what I'm hoping for is throwing some moisture into some of Central America, which desperately needs some of those showers. You can see there's a few spots with some rain today, but I'm hoping we get even a little bit more coming up. I'll have much more in Central America here in just a minute. On over to my friends in Jamaica right now, where we've had some spotty rain developing. And again, these are your feels like temperatures here. A few showers near Montego Bay. We've yet to see the rain in Kingston today. So again, feels like temperatures above 100 Fahrenheit. By the way, 100 degrees Fahrenheit is about 38 degrees Celsius, okay? Hot. 110 is 43.3 degrees Celsius. So again, if you're on the centigrade, you get the idea there of just how hot it is in Fahrenheit. It's stinking hot, guys, and it's very rough to be outdoors for any length of time. We continue to see tropical moisture move into Jamaica, and again, as decent of rain chances as we're going to have the next few days, the rain chances will more than likely even go higher over the weekend and early next week, and I'll look at that coming up. Here's an area that could really use some rain. Portions of the Cayman Islands, you can see a few showers and storms trying to race across the islands right now. Look at Georgetown's feels like temperature, well above 110 Fahrenheit this afternoon. I mean, I have to hit on this because so many of you in the comments section have been talking about how hot it is, and it is dangerous heat. And again, really, at this point in time, the only way that we're getting the opportunity to cool things down is to get some good storms in your area. That's happening right now over eastern Cuba. That's going to try and slide back over the Turks and Caicos a little bit later today, but so far they've been dry. Hispaniola is beginning to see a few showers and storms develop, especially over portions of the Dominican Republic. And again, these are your feels like temperatures at the hour. Once again, when we haven't had the rain down towards Santo Domingo, they've been above 110 for feels like temperature. Now some storms are trying to develop near areas like Santiago de los Caballeros and Romana, back down towards Punta Cana and interior sections. And again, this is an area that will continue to see rich tropical moisture over it. With the heat of the day, we get those thunderstorms to develop. Now, eventually, again, I know we're talking about good rain chances now, but I promise you late weekend, early next week, rain chances could be even higher. And it may not just be in the afternoon hours. We're getting the heat of the day to help to fire up some of these storms. It's been a little bit quieter over Puerto Rico and the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands for today, but not completely dry. You can see the storms developing on the northwest side of the island, Aguadilla on over towards Isabela. Moving off towards the south and to the east, you can see the live lightning count as well. Let's look at the moisture out of this. Again, this is our upper level water vapor imagery, and you can just see that with the heat of the day, we fire up some of those showers and storms. Let's take a look right now at the live radar out of Puerto Rico. So I'm going to bring that on and take off the satellite data here. And again, even from this radar, we can see the storms in the far eastern sides of the Dominican Republic. At this point in time, we're kind of skirting some of that rain on the northern coastline. It's just been spottier in nature for today. We've had a few passing showers over portions of the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands. There's one just off the northwest shoreline of St. Thomas at this point in time. But again, it's a little bit more limited for today so far. But again, this is an area that will continue to see some showers and storms. And again, Aguadilla there, right on the far northwest corner, obviously their temperature is down simply because they've had the rain. San Juan's feels like temperature is right around 100 degrees, and for most of the afternoon it's been above that. And there is a heat advisory currently in effect for a good portion of Puerto Rico, as has been basically every afternoon before the showers and the storms move back in. Let me get back over to the broad perspective. While I'm there, I just want to show you this visible satellite imagery as well. Again, we have our high resolution satellite imagery here at Meteo Mundo. It's very clear to see that Southwest Caribbean has really flared up again for today. You can really see the different levels of clouds across the atmosphere right now. And again, just a big ball of storms, but as far as anything trying to sneak up and become tropical, at this point in time, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So let me put back on our heat index numbers and then get back into some areas we haven't covered yet. And we'll go over to our friends in the Leeward Islands. Once again, it's been very dry here, generally speaking, for today. Feels like numbers that are pushing 100 in Anguilla or above. Barbuda, look at St. Bartholomew there, 103. Again, just kind of going down the line, Dominica, 102. So for a time, almost every island has hit around 100 for a feels like number for today. Again, the air is a little bit drier, basically from Barbados to the north. You kind of in between where the two systems are right now. Let's swing on over towards the Bahamas and show you what's happening there. And we've had a few storms try and develop Down here, mainly places like Cat Island and Exuma and Long Island, a few isolated showers there. We'll talk much more about the rain chance in the Bahamas coming up. And of course, I've got your island by island rain outlook as well. Freeport, again, you know, getting a little bit hot out there. Now, they tried to cool down just a little bit. It's very interesting. They might have had a brief passing shower there just to see their number go from the triple digits back down to 91. Not seeing it on the satellite imagery, but I can bring up the radar here. So let's see if we caught a shower very briefly here. Doesn't look like it. Might have just been a little shift in the winds. Again, we were talking about getting a bit of a northeast breeze there. If you live in Grand Bahama, you caught a shower today, let me know. I'm not catching it here on the radar. And let me put back on this one here just real quick to see. Nope, not really getting anything. But again, if you caught a shower there, but more than likely it might have been just a little bit of a nice northeast breeze. All right, I mentioned I wanted to talk about what's happening in portions of Central America, and I do want to highlight what's going on right now for our friends in Belize. If you've read some of the comments in the last few videos, and I read every single comment, you know some of the issues Belize has had. They have extreme wildfires in the southern side of Belize. It's impacted their air quality. They've had to close schools early, and now they're being impacted by the drought conditions so much that their hydroelectric power is being impacted. I actually read a couple of news articles and watched a video today. I wanted to get a better idea. There's the Chilillo Dam there on the McCall River just south of San Ignacio, and they're really hurting, guys. They're having to reduce power. They hope to not have to shut off all of the turbines. There's a little bit of river flow, but there's not much left. But this video that I saw, it was like drone video off of the McCall River, and there were wildfires on either side of the river, on either bank. So our thoughts are with you guys in Belize. It's good to see a little bit of green on this map. It means we're trying to get a little bit of moisture in here, but again, feels like numbers today from San Ignacio all the way to the coast are way, way hot. And we were talking about drought conditions. They kind of breed drought conditions, right? We got to break this down. I don't have a lot of great news in the short term, but hopefully in the longer term, we'll get you guys some better news. But our thoughts are certainly with you in Belize. And again, please let us know in the comments section if you live there and how things are going for you guys. Obviously, we know it's not great, but we're going to try and get you a little bit better forecast. So as we get into the forecast side of this here, the first thing I want to look at is the Saharan dust layer, because this will play an impact for some of you again over the next few days. That's mainly going to be the northern side of the Leeward Islands into portions of Puerto Rico and the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands. So guess what, guys? In these areas of pink, we're going to see hazy conditions again and reduced air quality. And so you're going to have feels like numbers above 100. You're going to have some tropical downpours, and you're going to be dealing with some haze as well. With this tropical moisture, we'll be able to overcome that drier dust layer, and there are going to be some showers and storms in that area. So as we get started with the forecast, first of all, thank you so much for liking this video. I mentioned in the last couple of videos that only about 5% of you like this video. I can't tell you how much that helps out the channel, because the more you like this, the more interaction we get, the more the YouTube algorithm actually suggests this video to people who don't even know we exist. So thank you so much for doing that. If you've been looking for your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, you found your home here at Meteo Mundo. Thank you so much for subscribing. Click that subscribe button for you right now. And again, thank you for sharing this with your family and friends. So let's see how all of these tropical waves are going to be playing out. We'll look at what's going on in the Atlantic coming up as well. I got you covered there. But again, focusing in on what's happening close to home right now. Again, because we have our area of high pressure still dominant over the Yucatan, all of the moisture, generally speaking, is going to have to move north and east. There is going to be some rain that is able to work its way inland into Nicaragua, especially portions of Honduras, maybe a brief shower over Belize. But all of that rich moisture turns north and east, and it goes over places like Jamaica, might hit portions of the Cayman Islands, Hispaniola, the Turks and the Caicos, and Puerto Rico. And again, as decent as the rain chances have been, you can see when I run this out over 5 days, it's really on that 5th day. So as we get into early next week, that we might see the biggest, most widespread rain moving back into this area. So for my friends in Jamaica, here's what I expect. I expect scattered showers and storms the next couple of afternoons. It just becomes bigger in nature here as we get into, say, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But you should expect the opportunity for rain across the island each and every day. And again, just becoming more prominent here beginning on Sunday. And some of this rain could be on the heavier side. Again, a lot of you have mentioned, hey, Rusty, we need this rain. It's been so hot, and I get it. And that rain chance will be with you guys. So, Kingston, who hasn't seen a lot of the rain the last couple of afternoons, could catch a couple of showers later today, if not today, tomorrow. And again, the entire island, Montego Bay, Negril, Mandeville, Ocho Rios, Port Antonio, all with higher rain chances coming up. Scattered showers will continue to drift across portions of the Cayman Islands. Again, you guys are just west of the thickest tropical moisture, which is just east of you guys. But still, Georgetown, West End, passing showers are possible. Maybe not as concentrated, but certainly that opportunity. Now, we're going to see these showers quickly move north and east. So the Turks and the Caicos with the opportunity for some of those heavier showers. And again, they become very widespread in this area here over the next few days. They're somewhat scattered in nature, if you will, to this afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, maybe even Saturday afternoon. But as that moisture plume moves north into the east, and again, it just becomes more widespread. And you're not just talking about afternoon showers then. Now you're talking about the opportunity to really get some rain, even developing during the evening and the overnight hours. So just to show you this again, as we move into early June here, as we get into early next week, again, this is, this is early in the morning into the afternoon hours, and you can see that rain is just around. It might become a little bit more intense in the afternoon hours with a bit of the heat of the day, but it's just really more about this moisture train moving in. And of course, this will spread north and east over Puerto Rico and portions of the Virgin Islands. Now, it may not be as concentrated here. I think Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic, Haiti have a better chance for more concentrated rain, even the Turks and Caicos as well. But San Juan and Ponce and St. Thomas and St. Croix need to get prepared for that. By the way, again, with the Saharan dust layer coming in, when you don't get the rain, you should expect feels-like temperatures in this area to be at or above 100 degrees. Scattered showers will kind of bend around to the northern side of the Leeward Islands. I'm not expecting as much rain in this area, but Anguilla and Ceiba and St. Eustatius could clip a little bit better rain. Same thing for St. Bartholomew as well. On over towards Barbuda and Antigua, Montserrat. We get a little bit drier towards Guadeloupe, but we will have our easterly trade winds coming in, and we mentioned this as well. And by the way, again, there is another tropical wave trying to move in through the Atlantic Basin, and that will, again, we'll see sharper east winds across this area and at least throw some moisture in. Now, we're not going to have one wave right over the area, so you can see that kind of quick movement of the showers with tropical wave number 1, which is across the region right now down in the Windward Islands. And you can see that right there. There's our last little bit of decent rain late today, tomorrow, and then it's just a little bit drier for Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing really concentrated in that area. If the ABC Islands are going to catch a couple of showers, guys, it's going to be as that wave moves off towards the west, and it's the same kind of situation tomorrow, maybe into early on Saturday, but there's not much to play with here. Easterlies are going to be strong. We're going to have some decent winds. And again, we watch this energy move up towards the north and to the east. You can see, though, that the Pacific storm is going to try and spiral in on its northeast side, a little bit more rain through portions of Guatemala and El Salvador. Now, as far as our friends in Belize go, again, I wish I had better news. If we're going to catch a shower, let's say over the next 3 or 4 days, probably the southern areas, probably along the coast. Those are areas that desperately need the rain. But the problem is, again, when I show you this, you don't really see anything significant, and that's the problem. It's very light rain, if anything else, but hopefully, later next week we start to see this ridge break down even more. Again, it's like we're trying to punch through a brick wall, and we got a couple of punches in, but we need a lot more before it actually falls. That's the GFS model. Let me go over to the big perspective one more time. I do want to show you the NAM model. In the Bahamas, I haven't forgot about you, because I'm going to show you a different model for you guys coming up here. I'm going to switch over to our high resolution model off of the United States to show you that. But want to show you one more broad perspective here, and that's the NAM model. I always like to look at different things. I like to show you guys those different things. Now, again, the NAM model, first of all, a little bit more twist down here. Again, it's not a disturbance, but there is a little bit more spin. But I want you to notice as well how widespread this rain is going to be, even on the NAM model. The Cayman Islands get a little bit more into it, Portions of the northern Leeward Islands eventually get a little bit more into it as well. This is a sloppy, wet system, and eventually some of this could build in through the Bahamas, and that's why I kind of wanted to leave you guys towards the last, because the NAM is more aggressive on building this moisture north into the west, into the southeast Bahamas, and into the central Bahamas as well. Obviously, I'm not leaving my friends in Bermuda out. Again, you guys are going to kind of get a 1-2 punch. There's a storm system to your north. You can see some of the showers developing with that. You're going to have strong winds. And then eventually, and we'll look at the extended forecast, some of this is going to be pulling into your area. I got to say this, if you live in Bermuda, you got to love the wind. I mean, you just got to. I watched the PGA tournament there that played out earlier this year, and had to hit it low. I mean, just a ton of wind in Bermuda, but a beautiful, beautiful island as well. Okay, so let's get into our friends of the Bahamas here, and we're going to look at your forecast. And again, switching over to our high resolution model out of this area, just to kind of show you how this is going to play out. And again, thanks so much for tuning in as this loops up. I've got your island by island rain outlook coming up right after this, so stick around for that. So again, you can see this moisture begin to develop over the area here over the next couple of days. Some of this actually tries to slide in from the east. Now, obviously, there's a few storms trying to develop in South Florida as well, but for our far northwest areas like Grand Bahama and Abaco and Walker's Key, we could catch a couple of showers late in the period here, basically on Saturday and into Sunday. Again, we have a northeast wind right now. We're going to stay with an east to northeast breeze across the northwest Bahamas, which could induce a few showers and storms in the afternoon hours. In the shorter term, we're going to look towards places like Cat Island and Exuma and Long Island and areas off towards the south. So Arthurstown, Georgetown, Clarencetown, a little bit better chance for some showers and storms there, kind of in between Eleuthera, New Providence, and Andros, more spotty. But you can see on our high resolution model here, we have a better opportunity for some heavier rain on the far southeast side of the Bahamas over the next 48 hours or so, and some of that could even translate down into the Turks and the Caicos. So again, generally speaking, it gets a little bit wetter the farther southeast that you go in the island chain. So here's how it breaks down island by island. Jamaica, again, we're just going to build your rain chances here over the next 3 days, up to a 60% chance on Saturday. Downpours and lightning accompany the storms. 30% chance overall for the Bahamas, but again, highlighting central and southeast areas for a slightly better chance. Turks and Caicos rain chances go up. Could be a little bit of a maximum tomorrow, maybe a little bit lower Saturday, Sunday, and then that next surge of moisture comes in with higher rain chances early next week. The Dominican Republic just continues to stay wet. The rain becomes more widespread and could be heavier in nature. And of course, we've got a look at your potential rainfall totals coming up as well. Cayman Islands, again, 20% chance, but this is an area that's right on the edge where I might be able to up those rain chances depending on how the models play out over the next day or two. So we'll keep that in mind. Again, if Belize City catches a shower, it's a very isolated one, and Cancun and Cozumel remain dry. Puerto Rico will start to see the rain chances improve again for us here, mainly in the afternoon hours the next couple of days, but becomes more widespread starting on Sunday. U.S. and British Virgin Islands, just kind of a category lower than that, but still a few showers and storms around. Obviously hot and humid when it's not raining. Sorry, Barbuda, I did not spell your name right, and I apologize for that. But Antigua and Barbuda, 20% chance for showers here. And again, through most of the Leeward Islands and even the Windward Islands, we're about a 20% chance for showers each and every day. Slightly higher Saturday for places like Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, where again, they have their best chance of rain for today. And then the ABC Islands, a paltry shower or two, but it's really a lot more about the heat. Okay, let's get over to our extended models here. So now what we're going to be looking at is how our entire area is going to be playing out over the next 8 to 10 days. We can look at basically as long as we want to here at Meteo Mundo. The first thing I want to do, because I hadn't mentioned it yet, and for those areas with interest here in the Atlantic, again, we have 2 more tropical waves to talk about, kind of moving off of the West African coast. They're elongated in nature, but obviously they're very prominent. And this is, again, unusual to have this tropical train develop here late May, June. Obviously, this is much deeper into the season that we typically see these waves. Now, so far, they've behaved themselves and they brought some much needed rain. This is kind of wave number 2, if you will, as we mentioned over the Windward Islands, and this is wave number 1. So 2 in the Atlantic, 2 in the Caribbean to talk about here. But again, those are the ones that I'll be monitoring. So let's get into the deeper forecast here as far as time. So give me 1 second. I'm going to bring this out what do you say we go out to the 7th? Because I think that's about as far as I want to take the conversation for now. So again, we'll look at the GFS model. It's going to load up. We'll look at the rain. We'll look at the winds. We'll look at the surf and sea conditions as well. I've got your wave heights coming up. Places like Bermuda are going to be wanting to monitor that. So again, letting this run. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do me a big favor. Help me out. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed and you're getting something out of this video, click subscribe. We've had a lot of new subscribers lately, and I really appreciate that. Again, we are teetering on the edge of hurricane season here, and you know I got you covered at Meteo Mundo. So we see how this plays out in the longer term here. And again, this is about where we stopped it last time. Notice all of that moisture coming in, and then it will quickly eject itself north and east. So again, we see kind of that first round move into the central Atlantic. Now look, there's still going to be a moisture fetch and a leftover surface trough. A lot of you have been asking why it's been so wet in some of these areas. Well, there's deeper moisture certainly here in late May, but there's also lift in the atmosphere. We have this trough that's elongated over the area. So we see kind of part number one move by, but even towards late next week, there's more moisture to play with here for additional showers and storms. So we'll continue to see some fairly wet weather in this area. Again, for our friends in Central America here, towards the end of the period, maybe trying to break down this ridge just a little bit more. I mean, literally a week from now, and I'm going to just pause that. You can just see we're just getting a little bit more green on the map here as we finally start to knock down this ridge. Now, is that great news in the short term? Obviously not. I wish I had better news, but you know, gotta tell you as I see it, and it's going to take a while to knock down that ridge. But for areas that continue to see that rain, we'll see that. Now for the Leeward Islands, again, there will be a little bit more drier weather in between tropical waves. And so we'll see if tropical wave number 3 brings us more. But I mentioned it in yesterday's video that we're going to have stronger easterlies here the next few days and into next week. And we'll see what happens with this moisture south and east of the island chain. But strong easterlies will be ripping through this area. Let's take a look at the winds here, and then we'll get into the rainfall. So this is going to be our 10-meter winds. And again, where we see these purples, and that's a good chunk of the Caribbean, we're going to have some winds in that 15 to 20 knot range for us here. Again, there's a little bit of a kink trying to develop over the Turks and the Caicos. It's not going to really spin up until right here. And again, this is on the GFS model, so we'll monitor it. It was about the same scenario as the last chunk of energy that came through, what, about 7-10 days ago, where it tries to wrap it up here, but there's some drier air on the northern and western sides. That's the one issue with this, is that there's not moisture-laden air encompassing where it's trying to develop. So more than likely, if anything, it would be subtropical, but the best or the highest probability is it doesn't become anything. But again, Bermuda is going to be in store for some gustier winds in the next few days, mainly out of the northwest, but then some higher surf and sea conditions as well. Time to look at our rain chances, guys, as far as total precipitation. So again, I'm only out, 5 days here. Won't go any further than that on the GFS. We'll look at the European model coming up in just a second, but obviously extremely high opportunity for some significant rain in the areas that I've already mentioned. Now, again, the GFS starts to bring in some heavy rain on the eastern and southern sides of Jamaica. I do not believe that we're going to have Negril and Montego Bay at 1 inch and Kingston at 6. We're going to probably average that out. But again, just showing you one model here. And there could be some significant rain, maybe just southeast of the island. The yellows and the greens are the most significant. But it's also good to see more rain out of the GFS in portions of the Cayman Islands. And again, you can just see how wide this significant swath of rain could be for Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo, Baharona, La Romana, Punta Cana, Samana. Several more inches of rain could fall. And again, it'll be a little bit more widespread early next week. Good rainfall for the Bahamas. And again, central, southeast sides of the Bahamas more than the northwest sides, but certainly the Turks and Caicos. You know, we're going to be talking about a lot of areas in that 3 to 4 inch range with locally higher amounts, okay? That's 75 to 100 millimeters of rain here over this time frame. And again, downpours could play a big factor in this. There will be some areas that'll have much less rain, but when you have this rich tropical moisture, you're going to get downpours, which could bring more significant showers. Again, far northwest sides of the Leeward Islands, Anguilla, you're going to have a better opportunity to get a little bit more rain than even Antigua and Barbuda and St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat there. Bring that back in. Again, if you get a ½ inch, that's not that bad. We're still favoring here the eastern sides of Guadeloupe and Dominica. Barbados, boy, I'd love to see you guys catch a shower that gets you over an inch of rain. It's a possibility. And again, higher rainfall totals down towards Trinidad and Tobago with this current system. So that is the GFS model in a very, very wide shot. Again, decent rainfall for portions of the Bahamas. We're still dry in our far northwest areas. This is the European model. I've switched over to millimeters. Whoops, sorry about that. Let's see. Hang on. There we go. Hit the wrong button. Switched over to millimeters for you guys. So again, biggest piece of information from the European model. Look how much red there is on the map over the next 7 days. Red gets you into the 3 to 4 inch rain totals, and that's what I'm talking about. Again, Jamaica, portions of the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Turks and Caicos, Southeast Bahamas, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, portions of Haiti, portions of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, even again, some of the Lesser Antilles, and certainly Nicaragua and portions of Honduras, and some of the Pacific areas of places like Guatemala and El Salvador. Again, Costa Rica, Panama would certainly all be included in that. But this is a ton of rain in a very wide field for early June. And again, nothing of a tropical disturbance nature is bringing that in. It's wildly impressive, guys. But again, we still have some areas which desperately need the rain. And again, on top of that, as humid as the air is, when it's not raining, it's stinking hot out there. Wave height and direction, guys. Again, look up to the look up to the top right side of your screen, northeast on the map. Again, Bermuda is going to get into some strong northerlies here over the next few days. Again, this is looping through the weekend right now. If you look on the top right-hand side of your screen, you'll see the time and date stamp. Again, we'll have strong easterlies, which will kick up some waves, and you can see that energy coming through places like Jamaica over the weekend, where we could fire up some wave heights that could get close to double-digit in feet. So the marine conditions is certainly something I'll be monitoring. What I expect is some squally weather to be moving in. We'll still have the winds and the waves out of the east, but again, we could kick up some 20, 25 knot winds, which could certainly bring up some sea conditions in some areas. Friends, you know you can find us across all of social media. We've got a lot of new subscribers to TikTok. We do some exclusive content there from time to time, and I appreciate you guys finding us across the other social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook. You want to send me your picture or a video or any business inquiries, that's myMediaMundo@gmail.com. Once again, friends, thank you so much for liking this video. Thank you for subscribing and trusting me here at Media Mundo. I certainly appreciate it. You have a great rest of your Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow right here.